John Kirby isn't very intelligent. If he were, he'd realize that what he's saying is utter nonsense. Or to quote Joe Biden, malarkey. And nah, I'm not doing that. You, sir, are not very intelligent. But check this out. Now, the channel the source from is Liberal Hive Mind. You should check him out. Right here. CBS News. Detained Americans back on U.S. soil. It was after the swap where we gave Iran $6 billion in frozen assets that we had taken away. And yes, we did. The people go, well, that did. Yes, it happened. People who fact check are mentally damaged. They're not fact checking because they want to be honest. They are trying to keep you from being intelligent.
The sort of counter argument is when you're talking about $6 billion is that even though there are, sort of rules as to how that money can be used,
yes.
You spend money on maybe food aid for your people, then that gives you extra money to spend elsewhere.
So here's a couple of things I want to make sure everybody understands. You're right. This money can only be used for humanitarian purposes.
Here's the thing, though. They're not going to do that. The Iranian government is not going to do what some empty-headed moron in a freaking suit with a yellow tie in the United States tells them to do. They're going to do what they want with that money, which is continuing to fund Hezbollah and Hamas and by attacking Israel. These are the people we deal with in the United States. These are the people that half our population actively think, oh yeah, they beat Trump. They beat Trump because Trump was a bad person. He said mean things on Twitter, and you are morons. You were actively lied to by the Democratic Party and institutions in Washington, D.C., like CBS News, Fox News, and CNN. You might want to find alternate sources of information instead of just relying on the same media outlets over and over, because they're not unbiased. They are biased, they are controlled, and they are manipulated.
Are still focused on putting pressure on them, holding Iran accountable for all their activities, whether it's supporting Russia's war in Ukraine, supporting terrorist networks, attacking maritime ships in the Gulf and in the Strait of Hormuz. We're going to continue to make sure we have the means, the tools, both military and economic, to hold them accountable. So if in fact they decide to...
He can't even answer basic questions during doing press briefings. I mean, it's sad, but it's also predictable. Like, people tried to ask him about, does the Republican investigation into, Hunter Biden, compromise, President Biden and blah, blah, blah. And he couldn't even answer a question. He just stared blankly, told them it was a non-issue or something, and then just walked off. The same with Karine Jean-Pierre. I don't care if she's black. I don't even care if she's a lesbian. She does not strike me as someone she strikes me as somebody who is in over her head. She may be an intelligent person, but when it comes to being press secretary, there are a lot of things she could be doing better. That's as far as I'll go.
Increase their support for terrorist activities or increase their maritime attacks in the Gulf. We're going to be ready to counter that. We're going to be ready to hold them accountable. We're going to be ready.
Yeah, we're going to be ready by dragging the United States into World War III and potentially making our southern border so vulnerable that they can smuggle a nuclear weapon across it. Now, I called this years ago, even before Trump became president. I had a dream where somebody smuggled an a nuke across our border and one of our cities went up in flames. Which is, I still don't know what to think about it. The fact that I had a dream like that scares the shit out of me. I'm still trying to process it even now, even all this time later. Having a dream like that is like, did I really just dream about that? And now that is actually happening with countries like Iran who wants to get nuclear weapons, China who already has them, and Russia who already has them. And we have imbeciles like this in governmental office trying to lecture everyone else on how they should act when they should simply be shutting up and trying to make sure that the southern border is actually locked down. Put our military on the border, and that would scare the crap out of the cartels. Because right now they're emboldened. We have an idiot in Arizona who believes she's governor, along with a Secretary of State and Attorney General who who are misguided and always screaming, well, that person, Carrie Lake, is an election denier. And yes, because guess what? In the United States, for the longest time, we've always had the right to question elections. I'm sorry, this is just now dawning on you, Adrian Fontes. We have the right to question elections. We have the right to question the narrative. We've been doing it for so long. The mainstream media now can't stand it. Good. You all we want accountability with you people. You, CBS News, ABC News, New York Times, MSNBC, CNN, and yes, Fox. Because Fox is not a conservative news outlet. Fox News is controlled opposition. And yet there are a lot of people like myself who understand that, and we combat it every day. And they don't like that. Fox News is owned by the Murdoch family. The Murdochs do not like Donald Trump, and they do not like the MAGA movement, or the conservative movement, if you want to call it that too, because that's what it is. We're trying to conserve our way of life. Do you not get it yet? Why would you not want to make America great? That's the question I ask anyone who sees this video, whether you like Trump or not. Why would you not want the United States to be a prosperous nation? Ask yourself that. Because right now we are in turbulent times with people like this in government office who don't hold your values. Yes, they will lie to you, they will preach to you, they will say, well, yes, we want to make sure you're safe and secure, and they're not going to do it. Just like the freaking donor class, they don't hold the Constitution in high regard. They think it's toilet paper. It's why we removed Kevin McCarthy from the speakership. Everyone goes, well, the Republicans are in chaos, and no, we're cleaning house, figuratively, literally, and literally. We're done letting these people walk all over us. Now, the Make America Great Again movement didn't start under Trump, for those who didn't know. It started all the way back when John Boehner was Speaker of the House under the Bush administration. It's been a slow burn process this entire time. Now, even let's go back further and say that the idea got started under, say, Newt Gingrich, all the way back during the first Bush and Clinton administration. By the way, George Bush Sr., as much as, I know people, I've done it and others have done it because they praise him because he was a pilot in World War II. He was also the director of the CIA. That should tell you a hell of a lot. I don't trust them. And most of the and because of Operation Mockingbird, most of the media outlets get their marching orders from the Central Intelligence Agency. Seriously, look that. I dare one person, even if you only watch 5 seconds or a minute or even the entire video, look that up. And also look up Operation Paperclip. Because at the end of World War II, our government decided it was a really smart idea to bring over high-ranking German officials, and not just scientists like Werner von Braun, the guy behind the buzz bombs and the V-2 rockets, who also ended up being the father of the Saturn V rocket. He was also the uncle of one Eva Braun. His niece was married to Adolf Hitler. We decided it was a great idea to bring those people over and think that we could put them to work on our space program. Only it's not really our space program, it's the German space program. Just continued in another country. Think of it as like contracting. Like, we basically contracted the Germans to come over and work on a lot of our stuff. And we didn't punish them for it. Hell, 4 members of Hitler's general staff ended up going on and retiring in the United States. And we did nothing when they popped up in 1952 as the head of the European Union, the NATO General Assembly, and the United Nations. We in the United States have a really bad habit of shooting ourselves in the proverbial foot when it comes to foreign policy. Because we also funded Hezbollah and Hamas in the 80s in a proxy war between Iraq and Iran, which ended up biting us in the butt with the Beirut bombing and of the Marine barracks. And we funded the Mujahideen in 1979 to beat the crap out of the Soviets when they went into Afghanistan the first time. And most of the hardliners for the Mujahideen who had seen combat against the Russians, they ended up becoming the hardline leadership for Al Qaeda and the Taliban. We also funded ISIS under Muqtada al-Sadr in 2003. Because what some people may not know, or the mainstream media they watch never informed them of, same thing basically. ISIS, the Islamic State, is actually comprised of former members of Saddam's Fedayeen Republican Guard and the Ba'ath Party, which was in charge of Iraq. We shoot ourselves in the foot with our own foreign policy through this interventionist bullshit instead of taking care of our own country.
to try to deter that activity.
You know, we just sent.
That, yeah. I try not to do a ton of these, but I do them in between my normal content. Not, I do mean it though. Go sub to Liberal Hive Mind. He's really good. He's really good at doing commentary. He's probably 100 times better than I ever will be when it comes to like political and news. I'm more focused on my channel on doing 3D animations, gaming, that kind of stuff. Yeah, my content, some of my playthroughs, I use freaking Anthro race mods. I'm not gonna change for anyone. This is what some people don't get. They always cry and whine and go, "Oh well, you know, that's cringe," and what. I don't care what you think is cringe. I really don't. I'm going to focus on doing what I enjoy. That's what should matter. Like, why do I need to fucking conform to other people's standards? I don't. I do StarCraft, Fallout New Vegas, modded Fallout 4, Skyrim, Diablo 1, Diablo 2, The Elder Scrolls 1 Arena, The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, The Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim Special Edition, modded, and even Dead Space and Source filmmaker animations. Like, there are crossovers with other stuff. And a small number of these like news reactions I do every once in a while. I was like, this is not the majority of my content. The majority of my content is stuff I actually enjoy doing that other people might go, well, that's cringe. Well, like I said, good for you. I don't care. I'm doing what I want. Either accept that or don't. It's a free country. Have fun.